It's episode 21 of Bandits Weekly, presented by Smash Supplements. My name is Nathan Crosby. We've got a great episode today with current Bandit Nathan Free, who's on a tear right now, leading all Alberta Division players in the BCHL in scoring. And we've got Nathan's former teammate, Hudson Malinoski, who played here last season, drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and is now a freshman at Providence College. We'll talk to Huddy later on in the episode, which is presented by Smash Supplements, where you can get everything you need to power through your day and level up. Located in downtown Brooks, open Monday to Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday, 10 to 4. Great store. It's right across the street from the Brooks Hotel. Go check them out. Okay, recap of last weekend. Friday night, the Bandits were back home hosting the Blackfalds Bulldogs. Every game against Blackfalds this year has been very tight, and going into that game, the previous 3 head-to-heads were decided by a goal, including that February 16th game that went to overtime that saw Mirko Buttazzoni score the OT winner. Flash forward to Friday night with Blackfalds here, and the Bandits only dressing 10 forwards due to injuries. Pretty dominant effort from the Brooks Bandits. Sawyer and Keith McInnes each had 3-point games, and Mirko had 2 goals, coming off a hat-trick performance on Family Day, so he's been red hot, and we'll get to him in more on what he did throughout the week in a second. But for the Blackfalds game, 7-2 win for the Bandits. Sam Scopa, 23 saves in net, and of course Hunter Wallace scored the goal of the night, that end-to-end highlight goal to make it a 7-2 Bandit win over Blackfalds. So a nice way to kick off the weekend at home. Saturday night, the Sherwood Park Crusaders were here. They hadn't been here since early November, so our fans hadn't seen this crew team in a while. Very strong team. Lots of talented players on Sherwood Park. Every game we've had with them has been low scoring this year, and this was another low scoring one. Bandits had a 2-1 lead. You kind of just had a feeling that Sherwood Park, they were hanging around long enough, and Dominic Payne ties it up, 2-2. We go to the extra period, and the one thing I love about the BCHL now is these 10-minute overtimes, and it was a lengthy overtime in Brooks, and almost at the 5-minute mark before Mirko scores the overtime goal, his 3rd OT goal this season. He is the first Bandit to score 3 overtime goals in one season since Braden Krieger did it in the 2019-20 season. Krieger's now at Bowling Green State. But that year, just before COVID canceled the playoffs, I remember he had 2 OT winners against Drum. He had an OT winner up in Drayton Valley. So he was Mr. OT, but I think Buttazzoni now is taking that name, at least for this year. So Bandits win 3-2 over Sherwood Park and have now won 5 straight in the BCHL and have an 8-1 record in the British Columbia Hockey League. Nathan Free was Player of the Week last week. Buttazzoni was this week's Player of the Week, so congratulations to both of them. By the way, Nick Peluso, both weeks, got an honorable mention for the BCHL Alberta Division Player of the Week. And Peluso set up the overtime winner on Saturday against the Crusaders, so got to give him some love as well. First guest, though, is Nathan Free, who was last week's Player of the Week, and right now leads all Alberta Division players in scoring. Nathan, thanks for joining us on Bandits Weekly. First-time guest, yep. I believe. Sorry, that's not a diss at you. I've been saving you for, I thought, closer to the end of the regular season would be a good time. And congratulations on the season so far, especially like what's been going on in the BC Hockey League, leading the Alberta Division in scoring right now. So congratulations on that. Just what's working well for you over this last month?
Well, I think, me, Sawyer, and such, just being together really helped all 3 of us. We've really created lots of chemistry. It's been good. Our biggest thing is just working hard and getting pucks back, and then once we do that, the puck's on our sticks, we can just start making plays. That's been our biggest success.
What have you noticed about playing in the BCHL so far, and what it's been like?
Well, I think it's been great. No more blowout games, or not as many as usual, and the competition's a little tighter, and it's good playing the same teams over and over again. I like it. Creates hostility and makes for some good games.
You're not going to see Okotoks for the 9th time this Saturday. Back to some of those players you mentioned. Let's start. I want to ask you about a couple of them. Let's start with Brock Such, I mean, just got him at the deadline from Sherwood Park, same age as you. Seems like you guys really have some chemistry. Just what have you liked about playing with Such so far, and how would you describe him?
Yeah, I played with Suchi when I was like 9 years old, so I've known him for a while. So it was cool having him in. He's been a longtime friend, and yeah, no, he's a great player. He can really shoot the puck. He makes great plays, and yeah, it's great to play with him. Great guy.
And one thing I've noticed in the short time watching him is he's not afraid to get physical either. We've seen him throw some big hits. I mean, he's not afraid to go to the dirty areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Logan Sawyer's another guy I want to ask you about, having played almost a full season with him. Obviously, so much talent there, but what's it like playing with Logan?
Yeah, he's a great centerman. He wins lots of draws, and he's great with his stick. He's got some really good skills, and yeah, he puts up points at a ridiculous level. He's just always scoring. Feels like every time he touches the puck. Yeah, it's great playing with him. He'll be drafted high, I feel like, and yeah, I think he's amazing.
Does he remind you of any other centermen recently that have come through here? Kind of putting you on the spot here, but
yeah. Hudson, Malinoski, actually. I think they're very similar. They actually both live at TL's, both going to Providence. So, yeah, I just see lots of similarities in their games.
That's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah.
And actually, Hudson Malinoski is going to be on this episode,
so
nice. That all works out.
Yeah.
We've got you and Huddy. But Josh Weeb's another one, a fellow Calgary kid like you. It seems like really since Christmas, and especially in the BCHL, he's been playing some great games. What have you thought about Weeb so far?
Yeah, it's really cool to see his development. He was here last year as well with us in Centennial Cup, so it's cool to see how much he's grown, and he's becoming a really good player, and it's cool to see he's scoring lots. He's been really good.
Just the room as a whole, I've talked with some of your teammates about this over the last few weeks because the last month's been kind of crazy. The last 2 months, January was nuts. Just the room right now and how everyone's feeling, not so much the BC thing, but with injuries and different lineups, it seems, and having to kind of change on the fly. Like, what's that been like?
Yeah, it's been a little absurd with all the injuries. Just getting unlucky, but we just gotta figure out a way to stay with it all the time. We've been doing a good job of that, and no matter who's in the lineup, just keep going.
You guys have been finding a way because obviously 8-1 in the BCHL so far. And one thing that I heard Ryan Papuano say the other day is with this new schedule, there's no weekday games. I know at the start we kind of had the school games and stuff like that, but now for the rest of the season, March and into the first week of April, it's all Friday, Saturday nights. Yeah. How nice is that from a player perspective, not having to have those disruptions in the middle of the week where we had like a Tuesday night trip to Old or something like that? You can just have a nice full week of practice.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be great for player development and even just rest for us, like being able to practice for a full week before we play and then 1 or 2 games on the weekend. Just seems like a way better schedule and easier to manage.
Have the practices been any different?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just more up-tempo, higher pace because we have more time. Because before we switched over, it was a lot of one practice and we play, then one practice and we go on the road for 3 days. So less of that, a lot more actual practice.
One of the post-game interviews you did with me, I can't remember which game it was now, but it was at the start of the BC Hockey League. It might have been that first game actually when you had the first Bandits BC goal. But I think it was, you said after that game, we're talking about nice to not have any cages and wear the visors. What's that been like going back to the visors?
Yeah, it's been cool. I feel like visors are just a part of junior hockey, so it's cool to experience. Like we were supposed to for last year, and then obviously they made the switch this year, but now we're back and it just feels cool. Yeah, back to last year, but you can recognize everybody on the ice, hear everybody a little even better, so it's been good.
Yeah, for a while there, especially when you guys wear the black jerseys and I'm trying to figure out who everyone is, I was starting to distinguish guys between cages, fish bowls, and now I can just see your faces, which is nice. But do you think like this maybe wasn't that big of a deal to wear the cages and the visors? Like how much did it affect you? Is every guy different, how they want to see the ice? Like from your perspective, did you mind wearing the cage?
I didn't mind it, no, and like most guys will probably end up having to put on full face protection eventually in college, so it's okay. Yeah, but it's visor a preference. You can see a little better, breathe a little better, even don't got the chill guard in your mouth. So, yeah.
World Junior A Challenge. Got to just touch on that quickly. Just how cool was it to be there with so many teammates and get to experience that. And now like moving forward, there won't be that opportunity now for the Bandits.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that I got to have that opportunity that a lot of guys won't have to get next year. But yeah, it's really awesome. We brought home the gold medal. It was just a great experience. Everything about it was awesome.
Tons of talent as well on that Canada West team, including 3 Bandits that are on Central Scouting, yourself, Sawyer, Matty Tyfair. What's it like having that in the background when you're trying not to think too much about it? I hear interviews with guys that are on Central Scouting. It's like it doesn't mean anything, until you get to the draft. Like I got to perform. And how do you approach that attention and making sure that you don't let it become a distraction?
Well, I think it's not really that important. You see guys come through this program like Bookman, McAllister, Hughes. They're 20 years old, 19 years old, playing here undrafted. They go to college. Callie already signed his deal, and TJ and Book will probably get him pretty soon. So like, there's lots of ways to make it to the top level. But yeah, Pap actually said to me, Coach Pap, he said, if you get drafted, there will be players that are worse than you that or better than you that won't get drafted. And if you don't get drafted, there'll be players that get drafted that aren't as good as you. So it really doesn't matter. It's all a toss-up. We're 17 years old. You never really know. They're trying to draft for 5 years in the future. So if you get drafted, it's super cool. If not, just keep your head down, keep pushing.
Well said. All those players you mentioned, you got to be around them in Estevan at the Centennial Cup in 2022 when you came up with the team and were out there with us. What'd you take from that experience being around those guys like Callie and TJ and Bookie?
Yeah, it's really cool just to see how seriously they take it. They were dedicated to hockey and their craft, and it was something special to watch on the ice. They were so good. It was really cool to watch, cool to kind of mold for the next couple of years. You're always kind of shooting to be like them.
That's one thing, like with you. I think of you as like you've been here for a while now because you affiliated with the team that year and you were around things in Estevan. But and that's one thing I've heard Taylor Macon said too is you gotta always remind yourself these guys are still young. Right? Tyfair, McInnes, these are defensemen that have they're 06s. Like it's an amazing group of 06 players on this team. I mean, just what's it like being that young and facing all that pressure?
Well, yeah, it's actually a lot different this year because last year I was the youngest guy on the team by 2 years. I think the next guy was 04. We didn't have any 05, so a lot younger team this year, and it's actually cool because it's been a while since I've been around guys my own age on the same team. So yeah, it's nice to have some more young guys kind of help me out. So yeah, it's been good.
Why do you think? Speaking of your age, I mean, like we go out to schools a lot around, and I know you come to a lot of the school visits, and it always seems like students just gravitate to you. I mean, the other day we were at Griffin Park, and you got surrounded and mauled by these kids. I mean, why do you think you've got that approachability for fans?
I have no idea because it wasn't there last year, but I don't know. Yeah,
it's hard to say.
Yeah, they just started coming. I'm not sure what that was about, but yeah.
I mean, good on you. I know your parents are great supporters of the team. Always see them here at the arena, and having got to know them, great people. Just talk about their influence on you and how it's helped you.
Yeah, living in Calgary, being only 2 hours away, it's been great for me. They're up basically every game this year. I'm not sure they've missed very few, so it's been awesome just always having them around. I don't really get a break from them, so I don't really miss them. It's almost like they're still here, so it's good.
Penn State. I've got to ask you about Aiden Fink. I mean, what a season he's having as a freshman for Penn State. I mean, we've got lots of connections on this year's team with yourself and Tyfair and DeGraves. But what have you thought of Fink's season at Penn State and what he's been doing?
It's just been awesome to follow. I've been following. I've watched some games. Yeah, it's been stupid what he's been able to do as a freshman. A smaller guy too, just shows like doesn't really matter. He's got the work ethic, he's got the skill, and it's crazy to see what he can do.
Do you think that you look at how he went about things, do you see yourself in a similar path that you're trying to emulate?
Yeah, I guess so. There's been some comparisons before from people with me and Fink, just small right-handed shots. But yeah, I'm not sure how things will work because obviously.
How would you say you're different?
Oh, well, this is my second year with the team, and his second year he was 18, so
Yeah.
it's just that much different. Yeah, it's a lot different. I think he's got a high motor, higher than mine for sure. He's a really hard worker, and it's great to see you try to emulate that, but it's hard. And he's got some good cardio. He has to, because you just see him riffing around there all the time. He's real good.
Awesome. So we got the last stretch of games here, and then playoffs. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun around here. Just what are you most looking forward to here in the final push for the playoffs and wrapping up this season, which has been a crazy season, but just what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I don't really want to look ahead, but it's hard not to. Hopefully we can finish these last, how many games? Like
10 or 11, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we finish them up well, and then yeah, I'm excited for playoffs to see how it'll all work. Playing the same teams again, just in a series. It'll be good. It'll be hard. It should be some good series. Hopefully more than one.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan, thanks again, and looking forward to seeing you back on the ice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks to Nathan Free for joining us on Bandits Weekly, presented by Smash Supplements. Nathan's former teammate, Hudson Malinoski, last year, what a season with the Brooks Bandits, drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, won a national championship as well. I feel like we didn't get to have Huddy here long enough, though, just the one season, and then went off to the NCAA. He's a freshman at Providence College and was kind enough to give us a few minutes so we could catch up with Huddy. Hudson Malinoski, it's great to see you. It's been a few months since you were last in Brooks, hoisting the Centennial Cup and in our championship parade. And then summer comes, everyone leaves, and in your case, you go to Providence. And I mean, it's been just such a fun watching you and all our Bandits go off to the NCAA. But from your perspective, what's this first year at Providence been like?
Yeah, kind of crazy to think we're already on the home stretch of our season here. Felt like I just left Brooks, but first off, thanks for having me on here. But no, I'm loving it, Providence. Yeah, like I said, we only got I think 4 more games and then we're in the playoffs. But I love it here. School's a little tough, but keeping up, and yeah, I like the change.
What are you studying at school?
I'm in business management right now, so I think a few of the freshmen that I came in with are in the same major, so we kind of got some classes together. So makes it a lot easier of a kind of step into college.
Yeah, you just brought it up how quickly time goes, that we're already looking at playoffs and then the tournament coming up, and you guys are
Yeah,
in a tough conference. I
yeah,
mean, how's the team doing? What do you think of things here as we're heading now into the playoffs?
yeah. I mean, we're in a pretty tough stretch right now. We got some hard games coming up. We play Merrimack, former Bandit Bookman there, but we need to win. Yeah, I think we need to win at least 3 of these last 4. Hopefully, get into the tournament, but we got our eyes on trying to get into the tournament right now. So.
Development wise, what's it been like for you? What have you learned this year through, the first, well, most of the regular season almost wrapped up now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was just like the how much harder it is to play, like being I'm not lighter, but how much like physically it is harder to play in the college than it was in the Alberta League. Obviously, the AJ last year is a good league, but when you come into college, you're playing against 24-year-olds and guys that are 4 or 5 years older than you in their 5th year of college, and kind of playing against men, and that's definitely the biggest jump for me.
Have you been following what's been happening in Bandit world that we're no longer in the AJ in the BCHL? Obviously, you know that, but what do you think of what's been happening on with your former team?
Yeah, I mean, I've been following them kind of on Instagram, just seeing games get canceled out of nowhere. But I mean, it must have sucked for you guys not being able to play, but I think it's cool going against BC now. They're obviously got some really good teams there, but I think it's cool. I mean, Brooks has been a pretty dominant force in the Alberta League for however long, but it's kind of cool to get some really good teams. Every game I see now is pretty close, and it looks really fun.
Okay, a couple guys I want to ask you about. First off, your former line mate Aiden Fink ripping it up at Penn State. Just from your perspective, what's it been like seeing Fink have that success this year?
Yeah, I mean, I always go on the college app after we play or whoever plays, and I always see, Penn State. I always see Faker always tearing it up. He just like he did last year, but no, it's no surprise he can score a goal. So I'm happy for him. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other former Bandits in college that are tearing it up. TJ Hughes too, but yeah, good players.
Yeah, and then how about your former roommate Luke Marshall committed to Canisius? You must have been pumped for him. Just talk to me about your relationship with Luke and how you guys are such good friends, and obviously both from Saskatoon too.
Yeah, I've known Marshy for a while now, so coming to Brooks at the start, not really knowing anyone but him, living with him was definitely, huge for me. Kind of, you always have a buddy going to the rink for the training camp. You don't know anyone, and you got, a buddy you've known already. So I was really happy to see when he committed, and yeah, I shot him a text. He deserves it, and yeah, I'm happy for him. Excited to see what he's gonna do.
Well, a guy you didn't play with, but you'll get to know, and you've probably watched because he's committed to Providence, and that's the same billets as you here. Logan Sawyer, have you been able to see what he's about and what he's doing here?
Yeah, whenever I watch, kind of the highlights on the Brooks games, I always see he's got a goal or an assist in the game making an impact. But yeah, it's nice to see that he's committed to Providence. He's a great player, plays with a lot of skill. Talk to the coaches here about him a lot. And it's kind of funny to see he's in the same billet I was at last year, but same, maybe not the same room, but same house.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask TL about
Yeah.
that. But on that topic, just obviously such a great billet family here, the Yamans, and they've taken in so many players over the years, and you got to experience that. Just talk, how special was it getting to billet with them?
Yeah, I was friends with Boston Buckberger when he came into Brooks the year before me, and he told me about TL and Sean, how good of billets they were, and he kind of helped me get in to their billets, knowing them. But they were unbelievable. I mean, they're got to be the best billets in the world. I mean, they made it feel like home, and I still talk to TL every now and then, and keep in touch with Caden too, Kira. But no, I love them, love their family. They're great people.
Caden's not playing too far from you. Have you got to watch him live?
No, I haven't got to watch him live, but I think he's only like an hour, hour and a half. But I don't got a car. But if I had a car, I'd definitely go see him. But maybe in the future, I'll see him.
And then how about your family? How are they doing? And have they got a chance to come out and watch you?
Yeah, my family's they're doing really good. My brother, he's playing for the Saskatoon Blazers in U18, where I played midget hockey. He's doing really good. He's signed in the WHL, so won't be going the college route, but kind of cool to see him go the other route, see what he can do with it. And my family, yeah, they've been up, I think, 4 times. They've been up a lot. They make the trip. Pretty nice to see my family living this far away from home. And I think my grandparents are coming up next weekend, so it'll be pretty cool to see them watch a live game this year. Pretty far away from Humboldt, Saskatchewan, too. So
That's so cool. Your year in Brooks, I mean, it flew by, and but so
yeah,
much success. I mean, what was your favorite part about being a Brooks Bandit and getting to take all that in for a year?
yeah. I don't know if I can name one singular part. I mean, that was probably the most fun I've had in a year, and just the culture of Brooks, just winning, and just how close the group gets. I just loved it there. But I mean, if I had to pick one, probably winning the national championship with all the guys, and just seeing how happy it made everyone, just seeing all the hard work pay off. But yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
And how about the coaching you got in Brooks from Pap and Makes and Perk and Wags? I mean,
Yeah.
just tell me about the coaching you got here and how that helped.
Yeah, I mean, Pap is an unbelievable coach, probably one of the most smart at hockey IQ, just knows the game, knows every aspect of the game, loves skill, just loves making plays. And I kind of love that part of my game too. So, I mean, I loved having Pap as a coach. Makes unbelievable guy, strength coach, just great coach as well. I didn't talk to Makes as much just because he was on the back end with the D, but I'd always chat with Makes. Just yeah, great guy. And Perk, he stepped in first year as a coach. He's not coaching anymore. He's playing now, which is cool. Sometimes talk to Perk, keep up with him, but he was a forward coach. I love Perk too. He was like my buddy just as a coach. He's a great guy.
Really cool to hear that. And your experience here was I mean, just to have that end with a championship was really cool. I gotta ask, because like right after we got back from Portage and everyone left and went home. I mean,
Yeah.
things stayed busy for you. We had the draft, Toronto Maple Leafs draft you, you go to their camp. What was that few weeks like for you?
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the craziest years. Just kind of first year away from home because I played in Saskatoon for AAA. Go to Brooks, go home for a little summer since we didn't end till May 20th, whatever it was, went all the way. But I actually went to the draft in Nashville with my family. My agent was there. Grandparents came, uncle and auntie, showing their support. But that was a really cool moment being there in person, meeting all the staff for Toronto. Probably pretty one of the coolest moments I've had in my hockey career so far. But yeah, that was really cool.
I remember the Leafs social media, they did a really good job, I think, with all
Yeah.
the draft picks following you guys around, and it looked like a ton of fun. I mean, and it's just like, yeah, it's cool to be drafted by an NHL team, but just like there's something extra when it's the
Yeah.
Leafs. Like you're talking about like these are the Leafs. Like that, and that must have been, or like, were you a Leafs fan growing up? What was your allegiance to, and talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Leafs is obviously a pretty cool team. They're in Canada too. But my dad is actually a pretty big Oilers fan, so he doesn't like the Leafs too much. So it's pretty funny seeing when I went to the Leafs, he kind of is, you know, the Oilers, one of their, enemies. But no, it was really cool. And yeah, they got their staff in Toronto is crazy. The media there too. They have someone with like a job for everything. It was really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you play for the Leafs one day and come visit us
Yeah,
maybe
hopefully.
in Alberta. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see what you're up to and at Providence and really pulling for you here as we get to the playoffs and seeing what you and all our other bandits are going to be up to. That's one of the cool things about the NCAA playoffs is like every year we've got guys in the tournament and also in each conference playoffs. So it must be pretty cool to see not just yourself, but your former teammates and guys that came through Brooks now competing at that high level.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's guys on every team spread out throughout the NCAA, every league in college hockey, and yeah, it's definitely cool to just see where everyone's path takes them.
That's cool. Hudson Malinoski, really appreciate it, man. All the best with the rest of your season and look forward to catching up again down the road.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kraus. Good luck with the next rest of the year.
Thanks to Hudson Malinoski for joining us on Bandits Weekly. Looking ahead to this weekend, it's a lighter schedule for the team, just one game, Saturday night at home versus the Okotoks Oilers. I think we're going to see a closer game than the last couple against this Oiler team. They were up north last weekend, had a tight one against Sherwood Park that they didn't win, and then came back and beat the Spruce Grove Saints on Saturday in overtime the same night we were playing in overtime against Sherwood Park. I think that's going to be a better effort we'll see from Okotoks. I think it's going to be a great game Saturday night at the CRA. And it's the final time Okotoks comes to Brooks in the regular season. That is a 7 o'clock start. By the way, Bandits Cash Raffle, which this year the grand prize is $25,000. It's been extended to March 29th. Normally we'd have the draw this weekend, but with the new schedule, Cash Raffle's been extended to March 29th. Tickets are only $50, and you can buy them at tickets.brooksbandits.ca. We will do the big 50-50 add-on draw this weekend. Jackpot's like $8,400 right now, $10 tickets. You can buy them at the game, and we'll draw the winner of that this Saturday, March 2nd, when the Bandits host the Okotoks Oilers. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to former Bandit captain Dario Belgio, who's a freshman at AIC and scored his first college goal this past weekend as the Yellow Jackets beat Army 5-1. So congratulations, Belge. And we got to give a tip of the hat to Cale Makar, who on Tuesday night against the Dallas Stars registered an assist on a Nathan McKinnon goal. And that assist put him at 308 points, passing the 307 that Tyson Barrie scored for the Avalanche for most points by a defenseman in Avalanche and Nordique's history. Congratulations to #AllHailCale. Bandits host the Okotoks Oilers this Saturday. Thanks again to Nathan Free, Hudson Malinoski, Drayson Kuiper. our media coordinator as well. I'm Nathan Crosby. This has been Bandits Weekly presented by Smash Supplements.